Hi everybody, as promised, here's my first video to help you with the DBQ. So this one we're looking at background essay questions. So the first background essay question, what are China's three major river systems? We have the Yellow River, you can see it right here. The Yangtze River, which starts in the Tibetan Plateau, the same as the Yellow River, goes through China. Remember, we trace this as the Changjiang when we were doing rivers of Asia. And then we have the Pearl River, which is a much smaller river in more of southern China. So those are China's three major river systems. How large is China's population, and how does this compare to the United States population? Well, according to the background essay, I want to say that the population of China was about 1.35 billion, and the population of the United States is about 325 million. So each of these people on the screen represents 10 or 100 million. 100 million people. China has 4 times, quadruple the amount of people that the United States has. That's a lot of people. And think about it. We've looked at it. They are all concentrated on the eastern part of China. So like in the western part of China, you got a small portion of the population, but almost the entire population, 1.35 billion people, live in the east part of China. In what region of China is water scarcity a problem? So remember, water scarcity means the absence of water where there's not a lot of water available. And remember, we're looking at per capita, so per person. You can have rivers over here and you can have lots of rainfall over here, but we're looking at per person. If if a billion people live over here, there's going to be a lot less water. This might be desert, but there aren't a lot of people, so there's enough water for the people that do live here. This is a rain shadow. There's not a lot of rain here because it falls on the rain falls on the other side of the Himalayas in Nepal and India. But not a lot of people live on the Tibetan Plateau. Everybody lives over here. Notice the major cities also lack water. So it's areas with major cities, mostly in northern China. North China has a water scarcity problem. How does North China compare to South China in regard to rainfall and farmable land? So what we see here is we have not a lot of precipitation or rain. Those are those brown colors kind of fading to yellow, then to green, and then the blue colors have the most rain. So if you look, we notice that North China does not get nearly the amount of rain as South China. So North China gets a lot less rain than South China. But if you look at agricultural regions, you'll see that North China has a lot more agriculture than South China. How does that compare? How does that make sense? Don't you need water? Could that explain why there's a bigger water scarcity problem in northern China? I think it does. So why is the Tibetan Plateau important to China and its neighbors? Let's count the rivers that start in China or in the Tibetan Plateau. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and actually here's a seventh down here. 7 rivers have its source from the glaciers that are melting in the Tibetan Plateau. 7. Those are the rivers that give water to Bangladesh, Pakistan, Thailand, Laos, Vietnam, and China. That's a lot. That's really, really important. So how does water scarcity threaten the very survival of the Chinese nation? We have 4 basic needs: food, shelter, clothing, and our health. We have to be healthy. We have to have clothing because we can't just run around without clothes. We'll freeze and it will be very, very bad and we'll get sunburns. And let's not go there. You have to have food and water to live. You can't live very long without food and water. And then, of course, you need shelter, something to protect you from the elements. So can China survive if they don't have water? It's a really interesting question, right? All right, so now we are looking at the definitions. Water scarcity is the point at which there's not enough fresh water to meet existing needs. Aquifer is like a underground rock with a hole in it that holds water. It's porous, meaning that the water can seep through the rock. It can store and carry water, and it provides millions of wells with water. So if the aquifer has something happen to it, we're all in trouble, right? Saltwater intrusion is the movement of salt water into freshwater aquifers, which leads to contamination. You cannot drink salt water. It will kill you. Okay? Like, you can drink tiny amounts. Salts, like soup, stuff like that's fine. But you cannot, salt water will dehydrate you faster. Don't do it. It's a bad idea. Subsidence means the land is sinking in. That's not a good thing. A transboundary river is a river that crosses at least one political boundary. We just looked at a whole bunch of those that, start in the Tibetan Plateau, the Mekong River, the Indus River, and others. And then the South to North Water Diversion Project. The word diversion means to move, to turn aside. So what they're trying to do here is take the water in southern China and move it or turn it aside so it goes north. It's designed to carry 45 billion cubic meters of water from China's water-rich south every year. That is a lot. Now, the final part of this DBQ, background essay questions, is to write a 2 or 3 sentence summary of the background essay describing time, place, and story. So you want to use your W's. And what I did is I took a summary and I put some blanks in it. Water scarcity is one of the biggest blanks facing China today. While South China has an adequate supply, North China, blank, have enough fresh blank to meet all its needs. Water scarcity is a big problem because it has the potential to undermine blank, we're looking for the name of a country here, economic development, political stability, and foreign relations. All right, so that's the background essay. I am more than happy to help you understand it if you need extra help. I hope this video helps. I hope the pictures help. I hope it's something you can go back and look at.